Escape from New York. Oh, I know you love the movie. We've got Escape from New York in real time. IRL. We've got wealthy business people. We've got grocery store owners. We've got millionaires. We've got cops. We got all kinds of people that are looking to escape New York City if Zoran Mamdani actually wins as a Democratic Socialist mayor position of New York City. Is this going to happen? It probably is. Who else is going to want to escape? Let's get into it. Here we go. Yeah, check out this title. Electing Zoran Mamdani New York City mayor would spur huge cop exodus, rising crime, straight out of Gotham City. Cops. I mean, yeah, this guy, he's on the far left extremist bandwidth, and he's saying that he's not going to defund the police, but that's what he believes. He's a socialist. He believes defunding the police is, a genius move. I mean, what could go wrong? What a bunch of nonsense, right? New York City, led by socialist Zoran Mamdani, will mean a two-pronged breakdown of public safety, crime spiraling out of control, and New York City Police Department officers leaving en masse. Is that a reality? I mean, probably. Police have been leaving big blue cities in droves by the hundreds every year since 2020. I mean, consistently every year. And it's because you've got ridiculous stuff like what's happening down in Los Angeles and what's happening in Portland, Oregon, where you've got local leadership that doesn't allow police to work with law enforcement like ICE. And so you've got this totally disjointed system, and nobody wants to support law enforcement in general, except, apparently Trump, who wants the criminals out. But these big leftist cities, they just want to have more and more criminals in their midst, right? And fewer cops. Well, New York City, you might get your wish here. Critics of the Democratic Mayor Committee nominee and front runner heading into November's general election aren't buying Mamdani's 11th hour vow that he won't defund the police. Now, he says he's not going to defund the police or shrink New York Police Department's workforce if elected. All right, campaign promise. He's going to do something else. He's just not going to support police because that's not what they do. A reversal of his long-standing positions. Of course, it's like Kamala Harris. Oh, yeah, I believe in a strong border. And you're like, really? How? You were the border czar, and you did exactly nothing to support a strong border. Instead, they believe the U-turn during the final weeks of his primary campaign was just a craven political move to score votes with undecided voters. That's smart. That's smart. I cannot believe New York City is probably going to hire this joker. I mean, honestly, New York City, what are you thinking there? What are you thinking there? I mean, this guy, he's a straight up commie. He just is. We've had him in Seattle. How'd that work out? Not that great. Got a bunch of nut jobs running around. Right? You got a bunch of ideological nut jobs that have no business running a city. And here you are about to have one run the United States' biggest city, a Democratic Socialist. Yeah, it should be enough for everybody to take note, right? If you put a guy like him in there, our people are going to get hurt and nobody's going to want the job. Nobody already wants the job. That's the thing. Nobody wants the job in Seattle. Nobody wants the job in Portland. They don't want the job. It's going to put recruitment back 5 more steps, Monroe said. And we're just talking New York City here. And absolutely, this is how you get from point A to point B, and you have fewer cops at point B. It's just not that hard to figure out. New York Police Department brass are quietly bracing for a potential mass exodus unless Mayor Adams, a Democrat and retired New York Police Department captain, seeking re-election as an independent, or GOP mayor nominee 𝗪𝗓𝗪 pull off an upset. I don't see that happening. I see this joker actually getting into office. I've had guys call me and say, I'm quitting, police source said of Mamdani. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, why would you want to stick around? If you are close to retirement age, why would you not just say, you know what? Things are not going in the direction I want to see happen. So I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And in so many police forces, you've got XYZ percentage of the police that are eligible to retire. You got some huge numbers. Luxury real estate brokers say wealthy New Yorkers are already looking to flee after Zohran Mamdani's primary win because he's a socialist. He's going to want to tax the heavy-duty business. He's going to want to tax people a couple points more for making over $1 million a year. Just tax, because he's going to freeze rents. He's going to bring in a bunch of city-run grocery stores. I mean, that's this tired playbook. He's going to bring this back, and everybody will look at it and go, that is the greatest concept ever. And then they'll put it together and make it happen. And you're like, wow, that is a real money loser. That is a real loser of a real life policy put in order, because we've seen how communism goes. And it doesn't really go all that well, does it? So you got a bunch of rich people, rich New Yorkers who are like, nope, I'm out. But you know what? I view a lot of this as like when all the celebrities said, well, if Trump wins again, I'm moving. And a handful of them moved. Most of them didn't. Most of them stayed right here. Rosie O'Donnell moved. Yeah, she moved. Oof. Within minutes of Zohran Mamdani clinching the Democratic nomination Tuesday night, real estate agents like Ryan Serhant were flooded with calls from clients looking to walk away from deals to buy apartments in New York City. High-end buyers are now looking to purchase property outside the city. And that's what I recommend with Seattle. You got a bunch of nut jobs on the city council. You used to have more. You used to actually have 𝗪𝗠𝗃 Sawant, who was a Democratic socialist. She was so terrible, just terrible for the city. This whole working class nonsense. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's like, hey, comrade, how you do? Oh, this isn't Cuba. Oh, it's New York City. Oh, couldn't tell. Didn't know. Who knew? My number one job will be moving people from New York to Florida again, Serhant told me. Based on the results, clients are going to hold off on making any kind of investment in New York City. You know what? They always say that, and because it's New York City, they just go ahead and do it. It can't be that bad, right? And it becomes bad. Hey, let's invest in Seattle. We'll see how that goes. Tax Amazon. Weird. Yeah. Crazy, right? So you've got the wealthy New Yorkers. You've got the cops. What else you got? Why millionaires are planning to escape from New York. Why? Because they're going to get the F taxed out of them. Socialist Zohran Mamdani's victory in the mayoral primary has prompted some of wealthiest New Yorkers to seriously consider leaving the city. Yeah, but do they ever really? They talk about it. They bitch about it. They complain about it. Do they really do it? Let's see. The morning after Zohran Mamdani's surprise victory in the New York City Democratic mayoral primary, Tom O'Donoghue's phone was ringing off the hook. O'Donoghue, who runs a large luxury construction firm in the Hamptons, the summer playground for rich New Yorkers, said his clients were in complete disbelief that a socialist was suddenly the favorite to win November's general election. Couldn't happen to a nicer city, could it? We're gonna get to see what New York City will look like with a Democratic socialist, a commie, just a straight up commie. We're gonna get to see what that looks like. How will that go? Yeah, sure it'll work out. Just a bunch of nut jobs voting this individual in, right? One of my clients has 150 commercial buildings in the city, and he just told me that he had contacted his attorney this morning. They're getting out of New York, he said. Well, they always say that. Are they really going to? It's New York City. Where else are you going to go? It's one of the biggest, strongest commercial real estate markets in the world. It's where, businesses go. They just go, where are you going to be? New York City? Because we need to be there for XYZ, whatever. Maybe not after Mamdani, the Mamdani effect, right? Escape from New York. Though the former New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, had been the favorite to win Tuesday's primary, Mamdani snared 43.5% of the vote compared with Cuomo's 36.4%. By 10:30 p.m. local time, the ex-governor conceded, saying of his opponent, tonight is his night. He deserved it. He won. Now, how exactly does that happen? If you've got anybody on the slate that is reasonable, how does a Mamdani basically not basically, win the primary. How does that work? Do you have that many people that are just so delusional about what happens when you put communism into effect? And, hey, let's just give this a run. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it in other countries, but let's just go ahead and do this. Throw the dice. Yeah, it's going to work out great. I mean, you're literally rolling the dice with your future. Mamdani, a 33-year-old state assemblyman, promised to freeze rent on stabilized apartments. Okay, there you go. Impose a 2% wealth tax on New York residents who earn more than $1 million a year. That's excellent. That should drive the wealthy out, right? And raise the corporate tax from 7.25% to 11.5%. That'll drive out businesses. So no cops, no wealthy people, bunch of businesses leaving. There goes your tax base. There goes your public safety. How do you think that's going to go? Who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to literally pay all these socialist ridiculous bills that are going to come due because you've gotten rid of your tax base, your ability to pay those bills? New York is home to approximately 350,000 millionaires and 123 billionaires, according to Forbes. Many are seriously thinking about leaving the city. Well, what about all the many that should have been voting? Where were all of those folks? You know, where are they in this equation? Yeah, not there, right? Not there. New York City mayor's race could send people fleeing to Florida. DeSantis and Boca mayor predict. Yeah, I mean, and that's already in the works, right? Hey, going to Florida because you know it's reasonable. You've got Republicans there. It's a haven because you're going to be dealing with, just another democratic socialist with pie in the sky ideology that isn't going to work boots on the ground. It's just not going to work. So is there even a comparison between City Boca Raton and New York City? In Boca, we look to lower taxes, not raise them. We prioritize public safety and fund our police department. We make it easy to open a business with concierge services. To make your next move the best move, ping at Boca Development. And they're looking to literally, get you to come there and get your business. New York City, 2% new millionaire tax, new socialist agency, city-run groceries, more bureaucracy, forced rent freezes. I mean, it's not that hard to work out. And, in New York City, if what you're looking for is socialism, then it looks like you're about to get some. You're about to get a little taste of what that looks like. And again, I say, that couldn't happen to a nicer city. We'll just roll the dice and see how this goes, right? Just take a little peek, see. What's that look like? Business leaders are threatening to leave New York City amid the unlikely ascension of Zoran Mamdani. Yeah, but, it looks pretty likely that he could have a real shot at winning because you got 6-to-1 ratio of Democrats to Republicans in New York City, and nobody's voting for a Republican. I mean, they'll vote for, Satan himself before they'll vote for a Republican in New York City. That's just how it is, right? This scenario has played out before. Here's what happened. So I'm skipping down to a section in the article, and it goes on to say, talk is easy, moving is hard. Like all those lunatics who said, if Trump's elected, I can't live here anymore. Democracy is at risk. And you're left with, okay, well, we'll see ya. See ya. Is New York City at risk of a billionaire exodus? History suggests no. I mean, this isn't the first time Wall Street mouthpieces and disgruntled business owners threaten to up and leave over progressive mayor-elect. 2013, Bill de Blasio won the mayoralty on a tax-rich platform, spooking high-income New Yorkers. But de Blasio met with Manhattan industry leaders like Goldman Sachs and Rupert Murdoch to win over the elites. This guy isn't going to win over the elites. He's just not. He's got too far of a left program that he's running on. So the tycoons stayed, and so did Wall Street's inhabitants. But if we see much more than what our 33-year-old potential mayor's got to offer, if he goes down much of a further left avenue than he's already at, you're gonna see some people coming on board saying, I have concern about remaining in New York City. I have great concern about where things are heading. Still, recent years have seen high-profile examples of billionaires leaving northern states for Florida or Texas. Yeah, we just had Jeff Bezos sell his home here in Bellevue, Seattle. Moved to Florida. I mean, got married past weekend. I'd say congrats to Jeff, but he doesn't care, right? He could care less. Understand he had a big prenuptial agreement, and probably one of the biggest ever. The reality is, for individuals as well as for businesses, choosing a place to relocate involves many factors, including what the location has to offer and what it costs. What makes New York attractive is we have an excellent labor market in terms of having great human capital. Businesses want to come here, and their employees like to be in New York City. Well, maybe, but if you keep pushing it left, maybe they won't. Here's kind of one of those those real estate angles on this article. Kenny Burgos, CEO of the New York Housing Association, which represents landlords, argued further restrictions on rents. Remember, Mamdani is going to cap rents. Just beep. Would affect landlords' ability to pay for repairs, making 40% of the city's properties unaffordable and ultimately causing property owners to walk away. You'll have vacant, deteriorated buildings, abandoned buildings, much like the Bronx had in the 70s and 80s. Indeed, landlords' mass abandonment of properties during those decades forced the city and its tenants to take over much of the housing stock, leading to the creation of hundreds of thousands of low-cost apartments. For perspective, New York's current mayor struggled to get approval for a program to build 80,000 new units over 15 years. So, you hate to say it, but there's going to be massive disinvestment moving forward because nobody wants to live in a city with a Democratic socialist mayor who doesn't prioritize public safety and certainly doesn't understand how to run a budget, certainly doesn't understand, you got to pay for this stuff to have people's lives kind of work in an orderly fashion. And New York City is already not working in an orderly fashion. Just look at the subway system as an example. Just look at the unfettered criminal activity of the illegals. Look at the Roosevelt Hotel. And you just look at so many of those factors that with a new mayor going down an even further left approach, that could be an absolute train wreck. I say could be. Will it be? You know what? New York City will probably just take some bumps. And it's always having this kind of stuff because it's always run by a bunch of Democrats. It's not run by Republicans, and that's why people move from New York City to Florida. And that's why Boca Raton. I mean, viable option just down the coast. It's warmer, sunnier, doesn't have all the crazy people running around, doesn't have crazy policy. This is, you get what you pay for. And with Mamdani, you get what I think is a real live wire for potential to drive New York City even further into the ground. Like if we had just a crazy nut job here in Seattle, again, running our mayor position. Would that be good for things? Absolutely not. Why is it good for New York City? Well, because New York City leans left and you get what you pay for. So how's that going to work out? The beauty is I'll probably get podcasts for days, weeks, months, you know the drill, forever. Hey, look at this policy. This is a good one. Have you heard this one? Let's take a look at it. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of that. Because I don't see the reality of anybody else but Mamdani really winning here. I mean, I just don't. I don't see that, which is wild, because this guy's pretty far left. We'll just have to see what happens. All right. That's it for me on this one. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.